Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we have some exciting news to share with you about former President Donald Trump's case regarding classified documents. As you may know, Trump has been dealing with the federal investigation into his possession of classified documents since last September. But on Saturday, Trump scored another victory in this ongoing case. This time, due to a partial presidential immunity granted by the Supreme Court last month, the Trump-nominated judge overseeing the case has now granted a delay requested by Trump's legal team following the Supreme Court's decision. This comes just weeks before the investigation was set to conclude, and a grand jury in Washington, D.C. was scheduled to start hearing evidence. While the Supreme Court's decision hasn't completely ended the investigation or halted all court proceedings related to Trump, it does provide some immunity from criminal prosecution while he was in office. So, this delay is a significant win for Trump and his legal team. I'm back with another exciting update on the legal proceedings surrounding former President Donald Trump. Judge Aileen Cannon, who oversees the ongoing criminal investigation, has recently granted a temporary stay on expert disclosures and defense information deadlines. She's also established a new July 21st deadline for both parties to submit briefs on the issue of presidential immunity. Let's dive into the details. Just yesterday, Judge Cannon granted a temporary stay on the July 8th deadline for expert disclosures and the July 10th deadline for defense attorneys to provide information to prosecutors. This means that both sides now have until July 21st to provide any necessary information. In addition to this, Judge Cannon has also set a timeline for both parties to submit briefs addressing how the issue of presidential immunity should be considered in the case. She gave prosecutors until July 7th and defense attorneys until July 14th to submit their briefs. It's worth noting that this recent development comes just 2 days after Trump's attorneys requested Judge Cannon to put a halt on the ongoing search of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. They argued that an independent arbiter should oversee the search instead. We're diving into an exciting update regarding the investigation into former President Trump's mishandling of classified documents. So, buckle up and let's get started. Following the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago earlier this week, we now have some fresh developments to share with you all. It turns out that the Justice Department launched the initial investigation back in January 2022, after Trump had already left office. The trigger, a letter from the National Archives and Records Administration (NARA) expressing concern over classified documents being stored at Trump's Florida resort. Now, let's fast forward to July 2022, when a federal judge ordered the former president to return all classified materials in his possession by September 1st. Interestingly, Trump didn't comply with this request. And guess what? He also failed to disclose the existence of a secret room with additional documents at Mar-a-Lago in his initial affidavit. This revelation is likely why the Dodge was so determined to serve a search warrant on his property earlier this week. Following Trump's court hearing last week, a judge is set to rule on his attorney team's request for immunity after Trump's lawyers made a strong case for the former president to enjoy executive privilege and immunity from criminal investigations while in office. Judge Cannon is expected to make her decision later today or tomorrow. While Trump's attorneys are confident in their arguments, Attorney General Garland has remained quiet on the issue. In a statement on Monday, Garland declined to comment on the ongoing criminal investigation involving Trump and his team. However, he did note that Department of Justice investigations typically proceed independently of a judge's ruling. Trump's legal team is now pushing for more time to file briefings on how the immunity ruling could impact the documents case, and to pause pretrial activities until the immunity issue is resolved. They argue that resolving the immunity issue is crucial to minimize the adverse consequences to the institution of the presidency arising from this unconstitutional investigation and prosecution. The former president is facing a whopping 40 felony charges related to mishandling classified White House documents, and the trial is currently in progress. However, there's been some criticism aimed at Judge Cannon for her supposedly slow pace in the proceedings. In fact, Trump's legal team has accused Judge Cannon of deliberately trying to delay the trial until after the midterm elections. But it seems that Judge Cannon has issued a stern response, setting a quick start date for the trial, and even admonishing both sides for their behavior. Trump's team is now facing potential sanctions for their misconduct during the discovery phase, while Trump himself could be facing a prison sentence lasting between 1 and 3 years if found guilty on any of these charges. So what does this all mean? It seems that Judge Cannon is determined to keep this trial moving at a swift pace and ensure justice is served. In May, Cannon indefinitely extended a key deadline for defense attorneys to disclose which classified materials it would introduce at trial, after Trump's legal team argued Department of Justice Special Counsel Jack Smith mishandled evidence by moving certain classified documents out of order. Trump's legal team claimed that Smith's actions violated the discovery rules and misled the court in a case where the former president faces possible federal charges. The team also noted that 17 documents were wrongly placed after 200 classified items during a review at the FBI headquarters. However, despite Cannon's decision and Trump's legal team's arguments, no indication suggests that government lawyers have reconsidered their position on Trump's potential indictment. In fact, one source informed CNN last week that an indictment was still expected next week. That's all for today's update. We hope you found this news as intriguing as we did. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to our channel for more updates like this one. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.